Recognized for 5
Thank
minutes.
you, Chairman. I want to thank you and Ranking Member Beatty for holding this hearing. The FinCEN finalized the first rule under the Corporate Transparency Act, the beneficial ownership information reporting requirements, which we've been talking about all day. That was released on September 30, 2022, about 10 months ago. But the rules will be effective on January 1, in less than 6 months. Mr. Coleman, you represent an organization that advocates for the interests of small businesses. So I wanted to get your assessment of how well informed your small businesses that you represent are about the BOI, and do you believe that beneficial ownership rules should be delayed, giving small businesses more time to learn about the law and get ready to comply?
I don't think there's much familiarity right now, and there's not clear guidance, and there's still some ambiguity on who must report. So I would definitely support a delay. Congress allows for a delay, or for a 2-year implementation, excuse me. That's consistent with how long the implementation of that customer due diligence rule is. So I think it makes a whole lot of sense. At a minimum, as Chairman McHenry has a bill that says you should not have it should not become effective until all these rules are finalized, and you should be able to comment concurrently on all 3 rules, I believe.
Thank you. You know, Congress intended for CTA to be very simple for most small business owners, and it was supposed to be a postcard-like form that would take a seamless amount of time to complete, but it seems that FinCEN has turned that into something else. So I want to ask you, how much time do you anticipate it's to take for small businesses to fill that out? And can you tell us, us and those who are watching, how long is the form? How many questions are included in BOI?
The draft form had 50 questions. When you just copied and pasted from regulations.gov, it's 8 pages. Now, I'm sure the government form will be smaller print, wider margins, so it'll look different. But still, it's a pretty intimidating form with a lot of drop-downs and sub-questions based on it.
So do you anticipate that small businesses will need to hire in external vendors or outside third parties to submit the form appropriately? Because, we're hearing very low numbers from UK database, but we're expecting the cost to be much higher than the UK numbers. So can you dig into that a little more?
Yes, an analogy is that for tax compliance, you have your CPA. 90% of NFIB members utilize a CPA. I do anticipate that we'll at least go to them to at least ask, is this legitimate and can you help me do it? And I think it's going to depend on state to state whether the State Bar Association might view those experts as unauthorized practice of law. I know for some of the larger firms, they've already said, we're not going to help with this compliance. It's my understanding that might be because the liability is too much for them. But I'm afraid that trickles down to some of the smaller ones, and there might not be an avenue to go, or you might have to go find an attorney who may be even higher cost. So I believe there will be a substantial cost to comply.
We got to make it easier for small businesses to comply, and this is making it very difficult, for sure. The FinCEN has yet to finalize rule number 2. That will lay out how highly sensitive beneficial ownership is maintained, protected, and accessed by law enforcement and financial institutions. So given this lack of clarity, how will the ineffective access rule impact your ability to carry out your ongoing CDD obligations?
I would be interested in...
Mr. Solanki, can you answer that?
Thank you, Congresswoman Kim. Without clear access, we need to understand that. So at this point, we have no idea how we would access it, what that access would look like, and who would be authorized to access it. And for a larger company, that's going to be difficult because we'll have a large number of needs to occasionally reference that information.
So every time a new comes out, we expect the businesses to comply. I'm asking this follow-up questions in general. Probably, Mr. Coleman, you can answer this. Do you believe that FinCEN has done its due diligence, educating, informing, and doing through their active outreach program to inform the small businesses about this new BOI coming down. You probably had this conversation before, but I wanted to ask.
At this point, I do not believe it's been sufficient. I'll just say that.
Well, with that, I yield my time. Thank you.